Hey everybody, this is kind of meant to be a very informal stream where I wanted to just basically test the web presenter 4K. I, I've got the thing last summer or or fall or whenever it came out, and I'd only really tested it. I hadn't really used it in production until last week when I did my stream day live stream, and yeah, it failed miserably. um, I mean, I tested it several days prior to that. I mean, so stream day was Wednesday, Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, and then Wednesday morning. I spent hours streaming with it, and it seemed to be okay. But once the stream actually went live, things kind of cratered. So I wanted to spend some time trying to figure out what it is. Um, I think a lot of the trouble is I'm actually trying to stream in 4K with it. But I have plenty of bandwidth. I mean, my internet connection is symmetric gigabit. I'll even do a speed test for you guys here in a second. I just need to make sure that I don't show my IP address. That's the only thing. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I'll do it. I'll go somewhere other than my ISP because going to my ISP, it's obviously going to be very fast. But I'll go to somebody else's here. Do a start speed test, and I'll show you the results once I've had a chance to kind of hide some things. So anyway, so yeah, I have symmetric gigabit connection, so plenty fast, really low ping times. It's been 100% reliable. I've never had any issues with it as long as I've been here. So anyway, those who are wondering, I am taking. Is the stream buffering? It's not showing any drop frames. I can try changing the bitrate a little bit. I've got it set for 35 megabit right now. That might be too much. Let me drop to 25. I'm using OBS for this stream that you're watching right now. So yeah, I'll drop this stream to 25. Yeah, I did get a warning from YouTube that it's not receiving enough data. But, well, if there's a problem, let me know. Okay, alright, so, let me edit my speed test result page here so it doesn't show my IP address. And then I'll let you guys see the results so you can see what my internet connection is actually like. So, 1 second. By the way, I saw somebody ask about this keyboard. I don't want to tell you what it is because it's terrible. I'm only using it because that's what I have available at the moment. It is 100% unreliable. Okay. So, whoops. I may not have mapped the right source. Yeah, I didn't. Okay, let me take care of that real quick. So that's. There we go. All right, so there's my speed test results. I just barely ran it. 905 megabit down, 918 megabit up, 5 millisecond ping. And that's pretty consistent with what I see. I always see numbers over 900. So, yeah. All right, now I've got here's my web presenter 4K. I've just got a video looping into it, video that I shot a few days ago about my fly pack. So we can kind of watch that. I haven't started that stream yet. If you want to watch it, the link for that stream is actually in the description. So I'm going to pull up the web presenter interface here. Where'd that run off to? There it is. Okay, so I'm going to start out. I'm not going to show you because I don't want to show the whole streaming key. But I'm going to start out with the YouTube platform streaming high preset. So I go ahead and hit on air. And things seem more or less all right now. But if it weighs out the same way that I've seen it do in the past. Well, that was an interesting glitch. Oh, I know what that is. Okay, yeah. Yeah, ignore the glitch. That was in the recording. That was an issue with HDMI cable. So ignore that. That's fine. Um, but yeah. Oh yeah, it's already doing it. It's already caching. So I mean, trying to send just 30 megabit and it's already caching. And in my experience, once it starts caching like this, you can see the cache buffer size increasing. It never recovers, no matter what. Um, so yeah, it's already experiencing a problem. You're hearing a lot of noise because I have my air conditioner running. I can't this time of day. I can't be in the trailer without the air conditioner. So, yeah. So I'm not using Wi-Fi for anything. Everything here is hardwired. This is all 100% Ethernet. And okay, interesting that the cache has gotten stable. I'm gonna pull up a copy of this stream and put it in my browser here. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't look terrible. Let me set it to watch the 4K version of it here. There we go. And I know you guys can't see what I'm doing, but that's kind of intentional. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, yeah, the cache is filling up immediately, even though I've got way more than enough bandwidth. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to change the preset here, and instead of using streaming high, I'm going to just drop to streaming medium and see if that improves things. That was kind of the approach that I took last week, because like I saw that it was the morning of. Okay, so all the days I'd spent testing, everything was fine. And then Wednesday morning, I set it out to streaming high. Yeah, we're still increasing the size of the cache. So I set it to streaming high, and I saw that it was starting to cache, and so I dropped it to streaming medium, and it seemed okay. But apparently, sometime after the stream went live, that wasn't enough. So here we are. We're streaming at 22 megabit, and the cache size is still increasing. So it's still not able to get data out to the internet at 22 megabits a second, which is not very high. Interesting. Bitrate from OBS, I'm streaming at 25 megabit. So, yeah, not super high. Okay, actually, the cache is starting to decrease a little bit at the moment. So, that's the first time I've actually seen it do that. But it's only streaming at 22, which is not very high, especially for 4K. 4K, you want more than that. Just for kicks and giggles, I'm going to set it to streaming low and see what happens. Oh, sorry, I hadn't put the video live on YouTube. Let me do that real quick. Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, you should be able to watch the video from the web presenter now. And I'll bring that up in my browser here too. I'm open to ideas, guys. Because it seems like this should be a walk in the park, based on the internet connection that I have. Yeah, we're doing it streaming low, and the cache is still filling up. I'm not sure what to think. Huh. Yeah, it is slowly decreasing the size of the cache, but yeah, I'm again only streaming at 12 megabit at the moment. That's nothing. It's not even enough for reliable 4K. And as I watch the stream, ignore the weird video artifacts in that stream. That's the effect of using a crappy HDMI cable, so ignore that. I actually had to reshoot this segment because of that. I didn't notice it when I was first shooting it, and I had to go back and redo it. Have I tried streaming to a non-YouTube destination? Not with the web presenter. What am I using for a firewall router? I have an Edge Router X, and I did reboot it. Yeah, you won't. If you're watching the stream, you won't see any buffering right now because the cache size is actually going down. Let me put it back to streaming medium and see if it can maintain that. Okay, so now streaming medium. The cache size should never get this high, especially on an internet connection as fast as mine. The main reason I haven't tested anything else because YouTube works fine for me when I use other encoders. Like I'm using OBS for the stream you're watching, and I've never experienced this issue. It's always been fine. If I look at the stats on that, yeah, zero frames dropped. If I tried using another web presenter, I only have one web presenter 4K, and I've never seen the issue on the web presenter HD, but I could. I actually could. It'd take me a minute to reconfigure things a little bit, but I certainly could stream off the web presenter HD. That's what I did last week when the problem happened. I failed over to my web presenter HD, so I was streaming in HD rather than the 4K that I originally planned. So, okay, so cache size is steady-ish on streaming medium. The other thing that makes me think that it's fundamental to the web presenter 4K is that I've heard from other viewers that have had the same problem. It isn't just me. Yeah, the cache size is increasing again. Wow. Can't even do 22 megabit. The firewall router it's not really doing any packet inspection that I know of. Yeah, that cache is still filling up. All right, so I'm gonna stop the web presenter right now. I hit the off button, and then it takes it takes a few minutes before it actually stops because it has to empty the cache before it actually stops. So, but then I'll try some presets that I created myself. I've created a series of presets with different bit rates, so I can kind of test things to see what the threshold is, where it breaks. Yeah, again, if you're just tuning in, ignore the flickering and whatnot on the video. It's just a bad recording. I copied the wrong file to the SD card that I'm playing. I should have thought to look at it, but I just didn't. But okay, so still on air. I hit the off button like 30 seconds ago. Still waiting. That's one thing I don't like about the web presenter. Like when you hit off, it doesn't immediately cut off. It has to empty the cache first. And on Wednesday when this happened to me, I physically ripped the Ethernet cable out of the back of it. All right, still waiting. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm going to go to my own set of presets, and I'm going to choose one I call very high, which is up to 40 megabits. Okay, so yeah, it's streaming. I think it targets 30 for 2160p at 2997, if I remember right. It is possible it's something related to the router, but the fact that I'm able to stream from other devices just fine kind of points in a different direction. And the fact that other viewers have had the same problem. There you go. It's already caching. Yeah. Um, although it's recovering. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I have not taken the time to do a packet capture coming out of the web presenter. My network would set up here would allow me to do that if I wanted to, but that would be so much data to sift through. You know, it's sending 30 megabits every second. How in the world would anybody find? That's worse than a needle in a haystack. It's maintaining right now. So streaming at 26.5 at the moment and maintaining at 3%. Interesting. Try streaming to a local RTMP server and see what happens. I could do that. I don't have one set up on this computer at the moment, but I could certainly try. But that doesn't really help when trying to get out to YouTube, though, does it? I mean, YouTube is by far the most common destination that I send to, and if a device won't consistently stream to YouTube, it's kind of useless to me. Okay, so this is very interesting. Using my own preset rather than the built-in YouTube preset, it's holding steady. A couple of minor dips, but it's holding. I didn't try that last week when I was getting ready for stream day. I just tried using the built-in one. Like, you figure if anything's going to work, it's going to be the built-in one that they vetted, right? I have not seen Blackmagic say anything about this. I think I'm the only one that's actually said anything in a public forum about it, but I've had a lot of people comment on videos here and on Discord that they've had similar problems with the Web Presenter 4K. I would say a lot. It's been more than I would expect. Now, this is very interesting. So it's able to maintain, as of right now, at 28 megabit using my preset instead of the built-in one. If the sound is weird to you, it's because I have the air conditioner running, so just ignore that. Oh, there we go. It just started caching. Just started doing it. No change on any settings or anything like that. What's the actual stream doing here? Oh, I got the wrong source on that. There we go. So yes, the actual video is freezing too. So it isn't just that it's caching. Yeah, there's something going on. Those of you who are watching and aren't seeing caching and buffering, are you actually watching live or is it delayed? Because when I'm watching it here, I am actually seeing some buffering. Yeah, so there you go. So it's buffering. Yeah, buffering. Which is what you expect to happen when you see the cache size increasing. That's just kind of the natural consequence of your cache filling up. Users are going to see buffering. Yes, you're hearing the gate on the audio. Would you guys feel better if I turned the gate off? There, now you'll hear my air conditioning consistently. Yeah, it seems like it's buffering for everybody. All right, I'm going to try reducing the bit rate a little bit from my very high preset to my high preset. Which I believe is 18. I'd have to look at the file again. In fact, I'll do that. Okay, so my streaming high, yeah, 18 for 2160 at 30. Yeah, even at 18, it's still caching. And for those wondering, I have tried hooking up a laptop to that exact same port on my Switch, and it tests just fine. So I don't think it's a network issue. Buffering, definitely buffering. And YouTube is saying that. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth scrolling, or smooth streaming. Yeah. So. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Yep. And that's exactly what's going on. Okay, I'll leave the gate off. And I checked the port of my Ethernet router. It's going through the same port on my Ethernet router as everything else. And the same port as the stream test that I showed you, or the speed test that I showed you earlier. Is my router doing any sort of logging that can be slowing it down? No, there's no. I don't have any logging turned on the router. If I had the 4K for a while now, I got it as soon as it was announced. That was last fall, I think it was. But I haven't really used it much. OBS was working for me in 4K, so I just got stuck with it. And it wasn't until pretty recently that I actually started trying to stream in 4K with the Representer 4K. So yeah, so 17 megabit, the cache is completely full. All right, I'm gonna actually turn off that stream for a minute, let the cache empty, however long that takes. Web Presenter, I have the latest firmware. It's 3.1 or 3.01 or something like that. I upgraded it just recently. That came out in April, and I installed it a while ago. So, on a coffee, are you watching there's a separate stream that's coming from the Web Presenter. So is that the one you're watching? You haven't seen any buffering? It's like everybody else is. It only says 6 people are watching that one, so. All right. Wait for the buffer. Wait for the cache to empty. When I connect the Ethernet port from my web presenter to a single 1000 base 2 port of my router, it will work. I only have one port available on my router for this network. Atticus, I've had similar issue with the A10 minis. If there are any drop packets and has very hard time recovering, I don't stream from them anymore because of the issue. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that from other people too. Am I trying to send over RTMP or RTMP-S? This is RTMP. I'm not using the secure version. Just double check to make sure, but yeah, just RTMP. You guys can see it. There's the config file. That's where it's going to right there. Okay, cache is empty, so I can try another setting. All right, I'm going to do a fixed 25 megabits per second and see what that does. A couple of people commented on it might be a YouTube thing. I mean, it's always possible, but I'm streaming to YouTube on this one right now, and it's not buffering. Okay, so we're holding at 30% on the cache, which is fine. It's trying to stream at 25 megabit. A little dip there. I don't worry about the little dips. It's when it consistently starts heading downward. You see that that downward. There you go. Like, well, no, it recovered. It recovered from it. This is very weird. Very, very weird. Just so inconsistent. I've got tons of bandwidth, super low ping times, very low packet loss. I don't know. I don't understand it. Well, when I say fixed bit rate, I mean that I set. I'll show you. All right, so scroll down here. So I have these fixed bitrate profiles that I created. So it does the same bitrate at every resolution. And it seems to be pretty consistent when I do it. Upstream bandwidth is a gigabit. I did a speed test. All right, there it goes. It's nose diving. Nothing has changed. And that probably means there's buffering on the stream. Yep, there is. What does a cache dump look like for a user? They just continue seeing the video. Yeah, it doesn't appear as anything different to them. It's delayed video, but they just continue seeing video. So when it's caching, that means that the signal going out is delayed, and the bigger the cache, the more the delay is. And if the cache size increases too much too quickly, then you'll get buffering for viewers. If the cache fills up, then it will be dropping whole segments of video. So not a great experience for users. I would try my video, but it maxes out at like 12 megabit, so it wouldn't be a useful test. And it only does HD; it doesn't need 4K. It is a gigabit router, yes. I'm gonna show you guys the speed test result once again. No, there you go. 905 down, 918 up. So plenty fast. And I should mention that it isn't only 4K when I've seen this. This is the exact same thing I saw when I was testing Starlink at much, much lower bit rates. Even 3 megabits on Starlink, I was seeing this exact same behavior. Whereas my video and OBS both maintained reliable streams in that situation, the web presenters, both HD and 4K, did this exact same thing on Starlink. All right, apparently 25 is too fast, so I'm going to drop it to 20. See if that helps. Ingemar, as you mentioned that you have had problems on 1 gig Ethernet as well. What were you using to stream, and what were you streaming to? Spencer asking, what bitrate am I able to send with OBS? 25 has been rock solid. I tried doing 35 at the beginning of the stream, and some people who were watching said they were seeing buffering, but YouTube wasn't complaining, and OBS wasn't complaining, so I don't know if that was a viewer issue or what. I can try moving it to a different switch port, but again, I have tested this exact same port on the switch with the computer, and it was fine. Yeah, cache is full, even at 20. Turn off the stream, wait for the buffer to clear. There's no way that I know of to see processor load on the device. Buffering on the stream would, yeah. When the cache size increases, viewers will see some streaming or some buffering, and that's to be expected. Because basically, the streaming device is not able to get data out to the internet fast enough. You have to wait for however long for the buffer to clear here. Can I bypass the switch and go directly to the router? Not really. My router that I have here only has one port, and that would shut everything else down if I was to move the web presenter to that. But I've seen the exact same behavior on a completely different router as well. I should mention that. I could move the web presenter to a different VLAN. I'd have to reroute some Ethernet cables, but something I could do. I have not talked with Blackmagic support about this problem. This is the sort of thing that you don't really get anywhere over email conversation. They'll blame everything under the sun. I'm assuming you tried a different Ethernet cable? Yes, I have. Okay, so I'm just for sake of discussion, I'm going to bump up this stream that you're watching right now with me talking right now up to 35 megabit in OBS. That way we can confirm it's not a bandwidth issue. So it's 25 right now. I'm going to bump up to 35. Okay, there we go. I'm streaming at 35. Does the router have metrics on the data rate going through the port? It has metrics on the total data rate, but not... Yeah. See if there's anything on here I can't show you guys. Yeah, I think I'm safe to show this. All right, so here's the router. So Ethernet 0 is the port that everything's coming in on, and Ethernet 4 is the internet connection. Still waiting for the buffer to clear. Does the backup or primary YouTube ingest change anything? No, I tested that yesterday and there was no change whatsoever. So I did a stream for a client. I used the web presenter as a backup and it did exactly the same thing. Did I check the connectivity from the switch? Maybe 100 megabit? Yes, I did. Yeah. Can I disable the VLAN stuff? No, not really. Since I switched to 35, have you guys seen any issues on this stream? On the OBS stream? Okay, web presenter's off. I'm going to try starting it at 15 megabit and see what happens. Can anybody watching this confirm that they've been able to stream in 4K at like 30 megabit on the web presenter 4K? Or am I like the only one who's tried this? Ping test to YouTube? I can try it. I'll try www.youtube.com, see what happens. No issues on OBS stream. Okay, good. Yeah, I have tried this on both 3.0 and 3.1. Did try both versions, and the results were the same. The strange thing is, like, it starts out fine, and then just at some random point in the stream, it starts buffering. And I don't know what triggers it. It's completely random. It doesn't... I've had it go for hours, and I've also had it fail after less than a minute. Am I using any network bonding? No. It's just a fiber connection. Can it be a QoS issue? I mean, it's always possible, but the only QoS I have set up is prioritizing a Dante network, Dante traffic over my trunk. That's the only QoS setting I have in my router at all. Okay, so 15 megabit seems to be holding. Steady 3%. Oh yeah, if you're just joining and you're watching the watching the other stream, the recording is bad. I had an issue with an HDMI cable. So I copied the wrong file. In fact, let me copy a different file. And that's going to take a while, but I'll copy a different file to an SD card so I can play something that I know is good. Okay, so I tried doing a ping test to YouTube. Apparently YouTube server doesn't actually respond. I could try going to the RTMP, but I have a feeling it won't respond either. Alright, so... Okay, it does ping. Yeah, let's see, I can show you guys that. Should be safe. So pinging a.rtmp.youtube.com, 49 millisecond, 106 TTL. So marginally high, not terrible. We're going to continue and see what we get. All right. All right, you guys can watch that for a minute. I'll copy something over to an SD card. I do have a managed switch as the main switch here in the trailer, but the switch that the web presenter is plugged into is not managed. It's just a dumb switch. Nothing sophisticated about it. But as of right now, the only other two VLANs that have internet are Starlink and cellular, and I know neither one of those will support 4K. Okay, let me find something to copy here. Holding at 3% on the 15 megabit. So when I say the web presenter is not reliable, severe buffering is basically what it is. Thanks, Spencer, for posting that. All right. So this is going to take a few minutes to copy. It's a 23 gig file. 4K files are big, guys. So I have the same issue with 4G tethering. Well, I don't have a device that's capable of streaming that kind of bit rate. A cellular device is capable of streaming that bit rate consistently. So I mean, I have a 5G phone, but upload speeds are not fast enough for 4K streaming. Play Aaron's stress test video. I need to get a copy of that from him. I haven't done that yet. How is the temperature? It's a good question. I'll go check. I would call it warm, but not hot. Yeah, I put my hand right on top of it. It's at the top of a rack where all the other equipment is turned off. You Mueller, tell me more about what you're doing to stream 4K 60 to YouTube. Is it on the web presenter? Or are you doing something else? Okay, 15 megabit seems to be holding, so I'm going to bump it up to 20. See what happens. This morning I was actually able to stream at 30 megabit for a good 15 minutes. And at some random point, it just started caching like crazy. Cajoling Technologies, it created a 4K input on AWS. We could try streaming to AWS. You have to get me the RTMP information such that nobody else could see it. You can go to my contact page on my website, djp.li/contact, and send me the stream information. Okay, so even at 20, it's starting to cache. I've got a fan in here. I could blow the fan right over the top of it and see if that helps at all. Can't imagine that they would sell a device that overheats itself that easily, though. Especially it is currently 68 degrees in the trailer. That's 20 Celsius. So that's actually cooler than most rooms. So shouldn't be an issue with the ambient temperature. And there it goes. It's nosediving again. Although it looks like it might recover. Nope, nosediving. It's not a static IP DHCP issue, is it? No, it shouldn't be. I mean, I could try setting a static IP, but... Okay, file just finished copying. So let me switch that out. There we go. You should see a video that's a little less glitchy now. I'll try giving you a static IP. Okay, yeah, static IP now. What happens with the ping test when it nosedives? Let me check. I've had it running consistently. It's still 49 milliseconds pretty much every dang time. I see 150 millisecond, but every other ping is under 51. But yeah, the ping time stays 49 very consistently. It's gonna be hard to read, but yeah, 49 milliseconds. 20, it's still nosediving. Percussive maintenance. Nice. I set it to streaming, my streaming high, not Blackmagic streaming high. I think that's 18. Yeah, it's still continuing to buffer. Switch it to 15. And we're talking about very little data compared to what my internet connection can handle. I mean, this is like 20 megabit is, how was the math on that? 20 megabit out of, yeah, so it's like 2% of my available bandwidth. Okay, so even 15, we're still continuing to increase the size of the cache. I could mirror the port in Wireshark. That would be a ton of data. YouTube Max for HD is definitely higher than 6, and YouTube actually recommends 25 for 4K. In fact, I'll show you this real quick. So the stream you're watching right now, oh, zoomed in too much. There we go. So a warning from earlier. When it was static content, it was sending 3 megabit, recommending 23.5. All right. Try bringing up Wireshark. Looks like I don't have the port mirror set up right now, so I can't do Wireshark at the moment. But that'd be way too much data to sift through. Okay, well, give me a minute and I'll set up a port mirror. Okay. Have I tested other destinations other than YouTube? Not with this particular issue. All right. Okay, I'll work on doing port mirroring here. It'll take me a second. switching. Okay, so we want I've got the mirror set up, but I'm not seeing the traffic on any of my LAN adapters on this computer. Unless it's this one. Oh, yeah, it is. That's it. Okay. And we filled the buffer at 15 megabit. Wow. All right, so here's the packet capture. Stop it. Back up. I saw a few errors in there. Duplicate packet. That's nothing to worry about. There's a lot of data to sift through. All right. Let me change my web presenter config here. 15 is too much, apparently. I'm going to drop it to 12. All right, back to the packet catcher. Spurious retransmission. Occasional ones like that are fine. Nothing weird there. For the most part, everything looks normal. Everything looks fine. Yeah. I'm not seeing anything weird there. Packet capture looks all right. I'm going to turn off the upload from the web presenter. All right, see what you guys are saying. How many times has this device failed me in live events? Well, I've only tried it for 2, and it's failed both times. So, there you go. All right, let's see if I got... Okay, there we go. Okay, give me a minute here, and I'll set this up to go to the AWS server that Joe has very kindly offered to make available. All right, so I need to create a new profile. I could actually let you guys see this portion. Maybe not. Okay, never mind. Setting XML here. Really exciting. Has the video failed me anytime? It ever has. It's pretty rare, especially if I use the Sharelink service. The only times I've had the video fail are times when I don't go through Sharelink and I'm on a unstable, unreliable internet connection. Okay, let's see here. Copy some of these bit rates in here. Actually, copy all of them. Might as well. Huge block of errors in the packet capture? I didn't see one. I'll go look again here a second. I'm going to finish editing this. Alrighty. Back. Web presenter. Load that. Alright. I'm going to start out with... So this is going to the AWS server that Joe set up for us. Let's see what that does. All right, and then I'll pull up that stream. See if I type that right. All right. Oh, that's interesting. All right, let me show you guys. Okay, so this is going through AWS before it goes out to YouTube. Paste that in the chat so you guys can see. Oh, it's doing the same thing. Yeah, it's buffering. Maybe Joe has some insight on the back end of what's going on. Oh, it caught up. That's very interesting. That's very, very interesting. All right, I'm going to bump it to 35. See what happens. All right, there it's buffering again. And it's caught up again. I don't know what to make of that. Anybody else know what to make of that? So yes, yeah, it is going to AWS and then going to YouTube from there. When I know if the HD version has the same issues, I haven't. Well, except when I streamed over Starlink, the 1% HD has been okay. But I've never. It doesn't do 4K. It doesn't do these super high bit rates. So there we go, caching again. We'll see if it catches up like it has a few times before. Yep, there it goes. Catching up. What does that tell us? So when I take the web presenter direct to YouTube, anything over roughly 20 megas per second, at some point will start caching and it doesn't recover. Going through AWS, 35 megabit, occasionally starts buffering, but then it recovers. Okay, I know there's some networking gurus out there. What do you guys think? Okay, caching again. What makes me want to move away from AW or OBS? I don't want to have a computer dedicated to streaming. I prefer a dedicated piece of hardware. It takes a reasonably beefy computer to encode 4K in real time. And in my trailer, I have to watch how much power I'm using. So, I mean, I have a computer that will do it. This computer that I've been on here today, it's plenty fast, obviously, because you're watching an OBS stream. But, yeah, it recovered again. And we're caching again. I haven't been watching the stream. Is anybody watching the actual stream to see if it's buffering at all? Yeah, Windows updates, yeah. I'm usually really good about taking care of that, though. Like Patch Tuesday, we'll come in the trailer and install updates on everything. And then before big events, I make sure that I have everything fully up to date the day before. But still, it's like just an annoyance, you know. My router is not doing any sort of automated speed test, no. No, not at all. I'll start a packet capture. Let's see if we see anything. So Spencer, what are you seeing when the cache fills up? What are the symptoms? Yeah, Blackmagic is going to say it's an unstable internet connection. Yeah. I mean, what else are they going to say? All right. So I did a packet capture while it was buffering. Nothing is jumping out as unusual. Drop cache every minute. Interesting. Thank you, Spencer, for sharing the link. Well, we can tell it's not a bandwidth issue on my part because the cache is emptying when we go through AWS. So something about the way the web presenter is talking to YouTube. That's my guess. Okay, so we are still dropping video then. You guys get to see behind-the-scenes footage of me shooting the video from last week. Or Sunday, I guess it was. A few days ago. Actually, it went live public yesterday, so yeah. It was YouTube members and Patreon supporters that got this video on Sunday. Everybody else, it was yesterday. I think you're right, David. I don't know what would be tripping up the web presenter though. It's not interval could be keyframe related. It's possible, but I seriously doubt they would be doing that keyframes at a 1 minute interval. That would be extremely long. Normally you see like a sub-second or maybe on some connections a couple of seconds at most. Test stream is choppy. Is that way for everybody, or is it just a handful of viewers? Well, Aaron, I'm sending 35 megabit on the stream that you're watching right now, and it seems to be okay. At least nobody's complained about it. As an experiment, I'm going to drop the OBS bandwidth just a little bit, to see if that has any impact whatsoever on the web presenter feed. So I'll go from 35 down to 25 megabit on that. For those wondering, my ping times to the YouTube RTMP server are still right at 49 milliseconds every dang time. What are we learning from this? I don't know. Yeah, OBS 35 megabit has been rock solid. And changing down to 25 seems to have no effect on the web presenter feed. Have we seen the cache get up this high before? And there it's recovering. I really don't know what to make of this. It happens when it changes the latency option on YouTube. I can't do that once the stream is actually started. I'd have to start a new stream if we wanted to change it. And you guys are actually watching a stream on not on Cajoling Technologies, Joe's channel, not mine. Yeah, let me try sending video on my web presenter HD at the same time and see. We'll see if it behaves the same way at the same time. I won't be able to show you guys the monitor output of it, but I can monitor it myself. Okay. Okay, web presenter HD is on air. I sent it to the same YouTube video in the link for. It's in the description of this video that you're watching. About 1,200 and 1,900 drop frames on AWS every time it drops. Interesting. Okay, so 4K just started buffering. Let me see what's going on with the HD. I can't see the cache size on there. Why is it I can never find an HDMI cable when I need one? Okay, so now I can see what's going on with Web Presenter HD. I'm going to actually... All right, I'm going to turn that off real quick. I'm not going to be able to send you guys the video from the Web Presenter HD, but I'll try and load the same settings. Fix 35 megabit. We'll see if it'll do it. Probably doesn't go that high. It seems to be maxing out at 15. Okay, caching on the Web Presenter 4K. No change on the Web Presenter HD. Thanks, Joe. Mike shouldn't be going to the Web Presenter 4K. He goes to the Web Presenter HD. The feed that I'm sending to Web Presenter HD is the same one that you're watching on OBS. I don't have the video playback set up where I can share it into both devices very easily. Yeah, the Web Presenter HD cache is maintaining at 0%. Just for grins, I'm going to swap the Ethernet cables between the two Web Presenters, see if that makes any difference whatsoever. I don't think it will, but just to rule that out. Yeah, that'll cause it to cache. No, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. I don't think we'd seen that before. Let's see if I can scratch up another Ethernet cable, try a different switch port. Okay, so it's going into an entirely different switch now, actually. No PoE on that switch, no. No QoS either. No QoS enabled. Okay, yeah, it's still caching. Different switch, different port. You guys want to see what it looks like on when I do it to Starlink? Yeah, it's very interesting. It caches. The cache stays at 3%. It doesn't go to 0. The Web Presenter HD is at 0. It has been the whole time. That's never changed. Should we try it on Starlink? I know it can't keep up with 30 megabits, but we can try it and see what happens. I'll switch it over. Remember, before I do that, I've got to set it to DHCP. Yes, the Web Presenter HD is at 0%. It's never dropped. What if I switch the WP4K to stream at 1080p? I could. Kind of defeat the purpose of having it. But we can do it as a test. IP addresses or host names? Well, it's host names in both cases. test it in HD before I try it on Starlink. All right, so turn it off temporarily, then set it to 1080p, and then start it. Okay, so it's now streaming in HD. I've got it set for 35 megabit. I'll leave it on that. Yeah, caching. So it doesn't matter that it's HD or 4K. It's the bit rate. Setting it to 20. Okay, so we are doing Web Presenter 4K in HD right now at 18 megabits. And when I tried doing 35, it was still buffering. Back to 35 to see what happens. In HD, not 4K. Still caching, yeah. Doesn't seem to make a difference. All right, I'm gonna switch to Starlink. Starlink pretty clearly can't handle it. I dropped it to, what's that, streaming medium, which is about 8 megabits. Can't handle it. Try streaming low. Yeah, that clearly doesn't work, does it? All right, I'm going to switch it back. Back to 35 megabit on fiber. iPerf test. I don't. How do you do that? I'm not familiar with that. And why not use an internal server on the same network? Well, I mean, the goal is to get video out to YouTube. Starlink, it's not so much a matter of latency, it's just the fact that the upload bandwidth is not very high. I can do a speed test on it and see what it's running at right now. Not that it matters. I'm never. You can never. You're never going to be able to get 4K out for Starlink. If you guys can read that, I'm running a Starlink speed test. So 84 megabits down, 6, 7 megabits upload, 88 milliseconds latency. It'll do the test with the router here in a second. That's actually phone to internet. This one's just going to be just the router to the internet. So 98 megabits down, about 10 megabits up. It's dropping. 7, 8. It ended at 8. And this is the connection just between my phone and the router. Internal RTMP. Let me try it. I'll spin up a RTMP server real quick. Actually, I do have RTMP set up on a different computer. So let me work on that. Okay. Let me rewrite this video signal. Hold on. It's very consistent, isn't it? Kind of makes you wonder if there's some sort of throttling going on somewhere by something. You know what? I can run this. I can take the web presenter and actually hook it up to a different router from here. I can go through. I have a different router available on one of my VLANs. So let me do that. It's ultimately the same internet connection, but yeah, it doesn't appear. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, there it goes. Too many keyboards and mice. Grab the wrong one. All right, I'm seeing the exact same thing going through a different router. So that kind of eliminates the my edge router is the cause of the problem. This is going directly to my ISP router. I have a streaming bridge, but it doesn't do 4K. Firmware on the Web Presenter 4K is the newest 3.1. It behaved exactly the same on 3.0. Stream on. All right. Yeah, I'm on. It's currently set for 1080. I could try Streaming Bridge. I require a little bit of setup. It's actually not here in Trailer. I have to go get it out of storage. All right, so I'm going to set it up to go to my own RTMP server here. It's going to take a minute. Yeah, my representation it's warm, but it's not hot. All right, I'm getting close to being able to go to my own internal RTMP server. You guys won't be able to watch that stream. kill that for a minute. Yeah, that dip was because I changed network connections there. All right. That's acting like it's not working at all. That's acting like it's not working at all. Let's see what's going on. Anybody just joining, I'm trying to stream to my own internal RTMP server. Okay, now it looks like it's running. And it's acting like it's not working. All right, for right now, I'm going to go back to AWS. So I can figure out what's going on with my own RTMP. Okay. Oh, I know what I did. Silly me. Put the wrong IP address in. Yeah, I did. Huh, that would explain it. Alright, easy to fix. Alright, kill that. Reload. Okay, there we go. That's streaming to an internal RTMP. I moved the web center back to my internal network so I can stream to my own server. Zero cache, full data rate. Got somebody suspecting it's a power issue. Trying to play the RTMP stream, but it's not letting me. It's not working. But it's not caching. No, it's off. Okay, there we go. So this is to an internal RTMP server. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and it is streaming. So here's a computer receiving the stream. Still cached at 3%. That's interesting, even though it's on the local LAN. And the stream actually froze. Oh, and it's recovered. And froze again. On air is flashing, indicating there's some sort of problem. Yeah, something's not right. The on air is flashing. It shouldn't be doing that. Try again. Yeah, it doesn't like something. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't like something. All right. Back to AWS. Anybody wondering, Web Center for HD, the older one, it's stayed at 0 cache this entire time. It has never dropped. But it won't stream any faster than 15 megabits, so. That's acting like it's not getting out to the internet now. Oh, 1% HD is off. It stopped. Try that again. It's really acting like it's not getting out to the internet. I stopped it. It's going to take a minute to dump. Yeah, I'm at 4K because that's ultimately the goal. I want to be able to stream in 4K. If I only want to stream in HD, then I'll just use all the other devices I have. So I'm trying to find a device that's actually going to allow me to stream in 4K consistently and reliably. So far, the only way I have doing that right now is OBS, which is what you're watching me on. When I try to view the AWS stream, it's playing very slowly. How many times is it being natted? Twice. I did try with single nat though, no change whatsoever. That is really taking forever to empty that cache. Something's not right. I can't connect to it on the LAN now either. Can't ping it either. Try a reboot and see what happens. No, it's behaving again after a reboot. Percussive maintenance. How big of a device should I use for percussive maintenance? I think I probably have a 30-pound. I could request an RMA, but I've had other people contact me through Discord saying they're seeing the exact same thing. We had somebody else mention that they were experiencing the same thing on ATEM Mini. I've heard that before too. So reboot fixed the not connecting issue. Might have fixed the buffering issue too. Look at that. Staying consistent after a reboot. Same internet cable, same Ethernet cable, same LAN, same switch port. These problems are frustrating because like there's nothing you can do to recreate it, so you don't know exactly what the underlying cause is. Oh, Web Center HD filled up the cache too. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm going to restart the HD too. HD is filling its cache immediately. Okay, so Web Presenter HD is doing the same thing now. And now we see the 4K starting to cache again. I don't know what to do. Garbage collecting. Oh, my edge router can handle the bandwidth. Yeah, no, not a problem. I bypassed it a while ago, and it was still doing the exact same thing. Did I try to downgrade the firmware? Well, there's only 2 versions of the firmware available for the 4K model, 3.0 and 3.1, and I have tried it on both. Well, the other thing I'll mention is that the stream you guys are watching with me talking to you, that is going through the exact same edge router as the web presenters. And that stream's been fine. 35 megabit consistently for most of the time we've been live. What's the problem with momentary cache? 8 to 15%? It's not ideal. Whenever you start to see the cache size increasing, users are likely to experience buffering. And I can't show you guys a web shot or screenshot of the Web Presenter HD, but it's filling up the cache very rapidly, and it's only streaming at 8 megabit. Can ISP router? Again, I'm going through the ISP router for this stream too. And when I do a speed test, I consistently get 930 megabits per second every time, up and down. A brief of what I've tried. Tried all sorts of different settings on the web presenter. Tried static and DHCP IP addresses. Tried going through AWS, and that seems to fix the caching problem instead of going direct to YouTube. I've tried bypassing the router in the trailer and going directly to my ISP router. And Reboot seems to have fixed a lot of the caching. It's been a lot more consistent since the reboot. Web Presenter HD is all screwed up right now. It's filling up the cache basically immediately. Web Presenter HD reached 100% on the cache a second ago, or 99% on the cache a second ago. I just stopped it. Thanks, Spencer, for monitoring and sharing links and whatnot. Appreciate that. Yeah, Reboot did seem to fix the glitch at 1 minute. But ironically, it did nothing on the Web Presenter HD. Web Presenter HD right now is useless. It's not streaming reliably at all. What router does my ISP use? I don't remember. It's inside. I'd have to track it down. But again, I'm streaming just fine with OBS. And then never had any trouble with anything other than the web presenters. My Video Go works just fine too, except it doesn't do 4K. Mainstream that we're watching right now, that's OBS going direct to YouTube. OBS stream encoding at 35 megabit. I haven't seen a significant dip in the 4K in a while. So it's being fine right now. It's the same issue if I run against my own RTMP. It didn't seem to like that very well. I got some video, but the web presenter was flashing the on-air indicator, indicating there was an issue, and then the video actually just stopped almost immediately. So some sort of incompatibility there between those. It really seems like Blackmagic's done their own strange RTMP thing. I don't know what that could be. Alright, so what I'm going to try now is I'm going to try going back directly to YouTube and not use AWS. and kind of see what happens there. Okay, so killing the AWS. Going back to YouTube. I don't know why I have to press on air twice. That's consistently annoying. Okay, so sending back to YouTube directly. This is the link in the video description. It's only saying 1080, but I am sending at 4K. There we go. Refreshing. That's 4K now. Okay. Could it be having multiple BMD on the same network, broadcast storms between them? If it's a broadcast, I would have seen it on a packet capture. But I can try unplugging the HD. Okay, HD's unplugged. And we're filling the cache very quickly. Oh, and it just emptied. What's the price jump to a video go? The video goes, I think they're currently selling for about $1,400, but they don't do 4K, which doesn't help. I already have one. That's what I normally use when I'm streaming for my clients. And most of the time when I stream here on the channel. Although when I stream in 4K, I use OBS instead. So this is interesting. It actually recovered this time, going direct to YouTube. Which I hadn't seen before. It depends on which the video go you get. The one that's HDMI only is cheaper, although they don't sell that one new any longer. The one that has SDI on it, it sells for more. I think I paid like $1,200 for mine, or $1,300 for mine. Well, this doesn't help to figure out what's going on. The new Prism is 4K, yes. It's like $4,000 though. Or $3,500 or something like that. Well, now it's behaving. What the heck? Punch on top, that's the percussive maintenance that we were talking about earlier. But you know, I did do quite a bit of testing with this Web Presenter 4K last week before I tried to use it for Stream Day, and all the tests it worked fine. It wasn't until the day of that I started to have issues. So we're okay at the moment. Can I compare the Web Presenter 4K and the video side by side? You mean like show you the video of the two side by side? Not easily. That'd require a lot of work. Okay, we're buffering again. Okay, yeah. Oh, and it's recovered. Very interesting. Feature-wise. All right, so Web Presenter 4K. It's a 1/3 rack unit. Has SDI and HDMI inputs. I just saw a blinking on the on-air indicator there. Interesting. Obviously supports 4K. It has this cool view that you guys have been watching, the status view. It allows you to have 2 internet connections. You can do Ethernet and USB, and the USB would normally be a cell phone. Although it does work with the... Hold on. It does work with these cellular modems. I did test it, and the web presenters do work with that just fine. That is really weird. Let's see. They try to make the configuration easier through setting up profiles ahead of time. If you want to do your own custom RTMP, you can do it, but it involves editing XML files, so it's a little bit intimidating. Video, back up web presenter. So you can have 2 internet connections, but it only switches between the 2 of them. You can't use both of them simultaneously. Yeah, we're definitely seeing some weirdness now, aren't we? So it should automatically detect when one internet connection goes down and then switch to the other. So yeah, between Ethernet and a cell phone over USB, it should automatically fail over. Yeah, cache is climbing. Okay, and then the video, it's only HD up to 1080p at 60 frames per second. It has SDI or HDMI, although the SDI is not compatible with 3G level B, which is what Blackmagic uses. So if you want to do 60 frames per second, you have to go HDMI on that one, or convert it to level A. It will go direct out to all your RTMP-based streaming services. But they also have a service called Sharelink, which allows you to bond multiple internet connections. So you plug in your primary over Ethernet, and then it has 2 USB ports where you can plug in USB modems like this guy. And then you can tether up to 4 cell phones over Wi-Fi in order to get additional bandwidth for any time your connection is unreliable or your connection doesn't have enough bandwidth, or one connection doesn't have enough bandwidth. You can share bandwidth between multiple connections. So you can do that with a Sharelink. They also have another service called Core, which is also supported by the Videos as well, Video Go as well. Same thing, more advanced. One thing that the Video Go offers that their other products don't is it can upload the video in H.265, so HEVC. So it requires roughly half the bandwidth of H.264. And then it gets transcoded to H.264 in the cloud before it goes out to YouTube or Facebook or whatever service you want to use. Sharelink is not free. They have different paid plans. They have just a pay-as-you-go plan where you don't pay anything per month. You just pay based on how much data you use. And then they have a plan. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. It's like $25 a month. I think that's the one that I'm on currently. I switch it around based on what I'm doing. The $25 a month gives you, I think it's up to 50 gigabytes per minute or per month. And then they have another plan that's like $50 a month that gives you 125 gigabytes, and then you pay for any overages, but although at a reduced rate. Okay, that obviously failed. So kill that. Try going back to AWS again. Let's see if we see the weird buffering. I'll have to wait for that to buffer to empty, though. Anyway, the video has been my go-to because it's always worked. And I pay for Sharelink in order to get the bonding feature. And I carry a couple of these around, USB cellular modems, to provide additional bandwidth if my internet connection for a venue is not enough. And I also have cellular in the trailer as well. And now Sharelink on top of that, actually. So I'm able to combine multiple internet connections on the video in order to make sure that I'm able to get the stream out. The other thing is it dynamically adapts to changing network conditions. So if I set it to stream at 12 megabit, but it's only able to get 3 or 4 megabit, the stream stays up, which is something the web presenters don't do. The web presenter, basically, if you tell it to stream more data than has a bandwidth to do, it'll die on you. It'll start buffering, and the users will experience stuttering and whatnot. So the video is a more professional device. And everything I said about the video is mostly true about the live view products as well. They take a little bit different approach to handling things. I don't have one myself because that's a lot of money to invest in something just for reviewing on the channel. And my video works just fine. But yeah, basically everything I said applies to the live view as well. They charge, I think it's $45 a month for their service, but it's unlimited. You're able to send as much data as you want. But they only offer the one plan. So if you're only streaming occasionally or you don't stream very long, the Teradek video products are cheaper per month to use. And I can share I have 4 different video devices, 3 of which support Sharelink, and I'm able to share the same plan across all those. So I only have to have one plan for all the devices on my account. Did I DIY my USB? I just got these off Amazon and then popped a SIM card into them. So right now I have Google Fi SIM cards in them. I have used T-Mobile, AT&T. I've never used Verizon in one of these. But, yeah. This is taking forever to empty this buffer. So I utilize the adaptive bitrate on the VDU. Well, I set it according to what I think I can reasonably accomplish, accommodate, based on the event too. So if I'm doing a sporting event, I set the bitrate considerably higher than if I'm doing, say, a business conference where you don't have people moving around. And so, I mean, because I'm having to pay for the data, I try to be economical with it. I have tried streaming using OBS using an Intel NUC, or NUC is how I say it. They're not fast enough to do 4K. They do HD just fine, but they choke on 4K. So I spent quite a bit of time on several different models, and it was the same story. Because basically all of them since, like the 7th generation, all have the same video encoding chip. They always QuickSync, and which hasn't really changed much over the years. And 4K is just too much for it. Yeah, this is taking forever to empty the buffer. I stopped it a while ago. That's the other thing I don't like about the web presenter. If you hit the off button, it doesn't actually stop until it empties the buffer. So, like, you end your stream, or you have experiencing a problem where you need to cut over to another encoder, you've got to unplug the Ethernet cable, otherwise it's going to keep trying. In the case of a full buffer like this, it takes a while. Alright, well, I don't know that I know any more than what I did when I started. Sending direct to YouTube seems to be a death sentence for a stream with this thing. Going through AWS, it was mostly usable. Anybody else have another assessment? I think the bottom line is I can't trust this thing. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. It's been so unpredictable. And somebody mentioned that I might have a bad one I need to get an RMA on. My Web Presenter HD did the exact same thing while we were here. So, yeah. But I have had ATM Mini work fine. The stream I did last week where I built my fly pack, that was all streamed off my ATM Mini. Like the only time I've actually ever used the encoder in that thing in the year plus that I've had it. I don't normally use my ATM Mini. I bought it mostly as a tool for this YouTube channel, that prop. Any progress? No. Haven't really learned anything. Although it's taking way longer to empty the buffer now than it did before. It's been going for multiple minutes. It was fine after a reboot for, what, 5 minutes or so? And then it cratered again. I haven't been encoding new video for a while now. Yes, Brian, still at it. We haven't really made any real progress. We've tried multiple things and have not solved the problem. We even did Wireshark packet dump, and that didn't show anything unusual. We even tried over Starlink too, and that was a miserable failure. Well, I'm going to have to end this before long. I've actually got company coming over here before too long, and I've got meetings this afternoon I need to be present for. But, yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, it just isn't working the way that I would want it to. Yeah, I hope somebody at Blackmagic sees this. I'll probably fire up an email kind of summarizing my findings and then link to the video. I'd love for these things to work. I don't feel like I can trust them. And they have quite literally failed me every time I've tried to use them for real. So, for now, I'll stick to OBS for 4K and my video go for HD. $20 for it? It was $700, Brian. Come on. After the cache empties, I'll try going back to AWS one more time. I wish other manufacturers of streamers would implement status screens like this. This is very, very helpful, very useful information. It's not enough information to troubleshoot a networking problem, but it gives you a good bird's eye view of what's going on, which is something that I haven't seen anybody else do quite like this. Power cycle. Yeah, we're close enough now. Let's wait for it. And power cycling would kind of defeat some of the purpose of testing, too, because when I power cycled the last time, it actually behaved for a while. Okay, there it is. Off. What about live view? Basically everything I said about video applies to live view as well. The big difference there is their monthly subscription. I think it's $45 flat rate for however much you stream. So if you're streaming regularly, that can be a better deal than the Teradek stuff. But for occasional streaming, Teradek can save you a lot of money in the long run. Epiphan time, yeah. I need to get in contact with them. All the other YouTubers who do this sort of content actually have Epiphan devices, and I think they got them all free for free from Epiphan. I might have to reach out and see if they'd be willing to help me out. The video doesn't have a status screen quite this comprehensive. It allows you to see when the stream is live, and it gives you occasional screenshots, like stills of the video that's being streamed, but it's not real-time video. It doesn't provide it anywhere near this number of stats. It doesn't have a, well, if it has a cache, it doesn't tell you the status of it. So yeah, it's just not near as useful. To be fair, do you need a status screen if it's really working properly? Probably not. It's useful for troubleshooting other stuff too. Like a lot of that information on the left side there, you can see like all the X's and L's and all those kinds of things. For someone that's trying to troubleshoot the quality of your video, that information is actually quite useful. It's nice to see this stuff because I mean it gives you a good overview of the quality of your internet connection. All right. So AWS back on. Yeah, GoWeb, yeah. If you're not using the bonding feature of LiveView or Teradek, there's no monthly charge. That's true of either one of them. So, but if you're not using the bonding features, I'm not sure why you'd want to necessarily invest in one of those. There are less expensive RTMP encoders out there. So AWS looks consistent so far. Without a reboot, I should note. Any thoughts on the Teradek Wave versus YOLO Live? Well, they're kind of different products. The YOLO Live is almost like an all-in-one, complete with a switcher and effects, something like that, where the Wave is really just a RTMP encoder with a screen on it. At least that's the gist of it. I haven't used one yet. And I don't know why, but I totally forgot to visit the Teradek guys at NAB. It just totally slipped my mind. There was a couple other vendors that I wanted to see, and I just forgot. So far, so good. Kind of seems though that the bottom line is going direct to YouTube is a recipe for failure. Maybe not immediately, but if I had another high-speed internet connection, I'd try a different one, but I don't. And this connection has always been rock solid. The best I've had ever. Yeah, it kind of seems like Epiphan might be my next choice. Like the Pearl Nano or something. Although I don't know if the Nano does 4K. I know they have 4K encoders. And Photo Joseph uses one. He's really liked it. Are you guys who watch the channel aware that like those of us who are doing this sort of content are in regular communication with one another? We don't normally talk about it, but we have regular meetings together. At least once a month. So we talk about all sorts of things related to video production and how our channels are going and the vendors that try and strong arm us into doing reviews for their products and things like that. Yeah, Teradek was not on the main show floor. They were in a conference room, but I still forgot to go visit. Well, this is rock solid at the moment. If I could see this all day, I wouldn't hesitate to use this thing. But yeah, the minute I switch back to going directly to YouTube, no good. I don't know. I don't know what to conclude here, except that I do not trust these devices going direct to YouTube. That's kind of my takeaway. And I won't be using them for that, which is kind of unfortunate because that's why I bought them. I got the 4K, so I could do 4K streaming, and I got the HD as a secondary one that could either be a backup or send a second stream for those times when we have to do multiple streams simultaneously, which does happen. So looks like for now I'll keep using my Video Go for HD, and then use my Video X as a backup, as a secondary, or my Video Pro as another backup. And I can even go to my original Video for a third backup, and then OBS on a computer for streaming 4K. So, yeah. Magewell, I haven't used any of their stuff. I don't know anything. I don't really know much about it. Have I used any of the AJA SRT encoders? No, I have not. There's a ton of companies that make things out there, but the only ones I really consider either have to be inexpensive, like the Blackmagic stuff, or have a bonding service, so I can get redundancy and reliability. If someone doesn't offer that, I'm just not interested. So many of the venues that I work in have inconsistent internet connections, especially if I need to stream off of Starlink at some point, in which case got to have something that adapts to changing bandwidth, which the Blackmagic stuff does not. Doesn't even try. Ryan asking, what level are you targeting for your audio live streams? Well, I go by a, and I didn't check it today, but normally I use the Clarity M stereo. Trying to remember the TC Electronic. I use the TC Electronic Clarity M stereo, and I target minus 23 LUFS. I do have compressors. I have a compressor on all of my mics, and then I have a 6-band multi-band compressor on the output of the mixer before it goes into the ATEM switcher. Do I see the same problem going to Facebook or Twitch? Oh, well, Facebook doesn't allow you to stream in 4K. I haven't tried Twitch. Why not an external bonding solution? I haven't tried it. I don't know how it would work for video. That's really the bottom line. If I have a slow internet connection for just general purpose browsing and whatnot, that doesn't bother me much. But I have to have something that's super rock solid for video streaming. That's what the clients are paying for. And they are not happy when it doesn't work. Not happy at all. Remote guest streamers, yeah. Yeah. I need to do some more live streaming type stuff with the other YouTubers. We talk about doing collaborations, but it never seems to materialize. And John and I have talked about doing a lot of things together, and just like it's never happened. I mean, something never happened. It's been rare that it has happened. And then Aaron and I have talked about it a bit too. For those who watch office hours in the mornings, on Friday for the second hour, John is going to be on talking about our stream day, and I'm going to try and be on too. I should be able to. I don't know who else is going to join. I think Joseph was a no. I can't remember what Aaron said. I don't know if the others have responded, but I'm going to try and be on. We'll talk about our experience doing the stream day stuff. Minus 23 LUFS, not minus 23 decibels. That's different. That's very different. Minus 23 LUFS is kind of the international standard for audio levels. Did you meet anyone at the BMD stand during the recent show that could potentially be a way to get some better support? Well, I know several people at Blackmagic. I don't like to have to pull those strings, though, in order to get products to do what they're supposed to do. I shouldn't have to, or someone shouldn't have to be a YouTuber with 22,000 subscribers in order to get attention from a company, right? So I try to not use that weight in order to get help. Because, I mean, what if I didn't have the channel? I'd be screwed, right? I wouldn't be able to get any help. Have I ever used Speedify? I have an account. I toyed with it, but I haven't used it extensively, and the feedback I've gotten from people who have tried it for video streaming is it has not worked well. Office Hours is a video show that happens every morning, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, put together by a guy named Alex Lindsay. Has a bunch of people who are in video production on it, like sometimes very prominent people who have done some very notable things. Happens every day. It's they stream it on YouTube. But yeah, a lot of video industry professionals. And first hour of the show, they take questions from the audience and or other panelists. And then the second hour, they do specific topics and they bring in guest speakers to share stories and or to talk about their products, whatever. So I've been on it a couple times. Main issue is it's right in the middle of the morning when I'm having to do other things. So I would have to have. I like when I'm on. I want to do it for my trailer because that's what everybody knows me for. And I would have to get up. I have to be in my trailer by 6:30 a.m. Start getting things set up. And I'd be stuck here for 3 hours. And it just doesn't seem worth it. I watch it quite often. I have it on in the background while I'm working. I can say minus 23 lufs. It's very different than minus 23 decibels. But that's my target for streaming. I try to hit minus 23 lufs. In the U.S., technically we use LUKFs instead of lufs, but lufs is more international. So that's kind of what I target. Let me start to see what my levels are right now. All right, right now. Oh, it's not on. I got to turn it on. I'd show you guys a picture of it, but I actually did a whole video about the TC Electronic Clarity M Stereo. Wait for it to boot. Yeah, looks like rock solid 3% cache going through Amazon. So, okay, I'm actually a little hotter than what minus 23 lufs. It's close, but it's like maybe minus 20. Well, let's see. Loudness max is at minus 24. Recently, the 10-second window is minus 20 or minus 30. Peak loudness was 13.7 dB, so I had something that got loud at some point. But bottom line is, audio level is actually pretty good, pretty consistent right now with what I want. And a lot of that's because I go through compressors to maintain that. Cajoling, I'd be happy to come on, talking about my IT stuff, my networking. I'm not a networking expert. I mean, I've done a fair amount of it, but there's a lot of stuff that I don't know. Do I think the ATEM 4ME will ever get updates providing more DVEs? They've already gotten a lot of extra out of that hardware than what originally came. I think originally shipped with just 2 MEs. They added the third and fourth with a software update. I don't think they could push it. Now, they also added the advanced keyers, the software update. I think they probably can't push that one any farther than what they have. What I think is going to happen is we'll get new Constellation 4K switchers sometime. I have no idea when that's going to be, but I suspect it's not going to be too far in the future. Within a year, I would guess. All right, well, looks like going through Amazon, it's consistent, it works well. Going direct to YouTube, it fails. So that's kind of the bottom line here. Yeah, I do need to run. I've got things going on. But thanks for joining, thanks for helping. I know this is not a normal live stream, not normal video for my channel. It attracts a more techie, nerdy crowd than the rest, but appreciate all the help you guys have offered along the way. Especially Joe making your AWS account available to me. That's awesome. Very appreciate that. I'm going to try and do some more research and maybe do a follow-up video when I have more concrete information about what's going on. But as of right now, it looks like the Web Presenter 4K just does not want to stream in 4K going direct to YouTube at high bit rate. It just it trips and falls, it stumbles along the way. So I won't be using it. All right, okay, well, that's gonna do it. So yeah, I have more videos coming out before long. I plan to hopefully shoot one today, shoot a video today, and then I have 2 that I've actually shot that I haven't edited yet. One about HyperDex, and then one about the advanced panel. I had a friend loan me one of the Blackmagic advanced panels, and I learned the thing inside and out and made a video about it. I just need to edit that. And then hopefully today I'm going to shoot a video about how I did the intro and outro on my live stream, or my stream day video last week. I had a lot of people ask me that. So anyway, so that's going to be it for now. So thanks for joining, and